Good morning, dear students. How are you? Hope you are doing well. Today we have to start with our new session, Acid, Bases and Salts, and that is the second part in which we'll be discussing about acids, bases and salt. Before starting with that, I'll just give brief introduction about what is Swiflearn. We at Swiflearn, we try harder because we are the most sincere platform for the students for classes 3rd to 10th. What we offer you? We offer you live and interactive classes that are 100% live. We give you personalized attention batch with maximum of 6 students. We have a dedicated mentor team which will track and work on students' progress. And above all, we handle the custom requests for the students who are appearing, who are immediately having their exams. They want a particular topic to be covered in priority. We take care of that request also. So what are our key features? Students are basically safe in our hands because we give them progress reports. We arrange Swiflearn academic test series for them so that they can understand where are they standing and how much more efforts they have to put in. We take unlimited practice tests because they are available on the Swiflearn website. You can go and attempt as many tests as you want, and we conduct the subjective test for the school exam. So the students is well versed with all the topics before appearing for a school exam. So what you have to do, you just have to book a free trial class. Now, for that you need to click on the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and you will not be able to miss any updates. Now, our topic for today is what are acid, bases and salt that we have covered in the last session. Today we will be discussing more about acid bases and what is neutralization reaction and how this neutralization reaction is helpful in our day-to-day life. So, before that, I can ask you, have you completed your homework, and we'll discuss about your doubts. Anyone having any doubts can ask me. We'll be discussing what we have. We'll be just revising what we have done in the last session about acids and bases, and then we'll be going to the next topic. So, we'll be discussing today what is neutralization, what is the process that is involved in neutralization, how neutralization is important in everyday life, that is indigestion, and by soil treatment and factory waste. So, introduction is what we have studied in the previous class. We have just studied that edible substances around us they have different tastes. We have observed that there are many things around us. You can see sweets in front of you, which are making you feel mouth-watering. They are sweet in taste. The tamarind which is there, it's a bit sour in taste. That means it is having some acid in it. Baking soda is bitter in taste. If you keep a pinch of baking soda on your tongue, you feel it is bitter. Same goes for the medicine. That means they have basic nature, and this tamarind is having acidic nature. Now sweets are tasting sweeter. Okay, so they don't have either acid or bases in them. Now, what are acids? If we consider a general life example, lemons are all around you. And nowadays, because of coronavirus, we have increased the intake of lemon and warm water. So to increase our immunity and be away from this, from the attack of coronavirus. So lemon and tamarind that are around you, tamarind is imli which you use in your kitchen, they taste sour. They taste sour. Why? Because there is a presence of acids in them. So can we say that anything which is tasting sour is having acid in it? Yes, we can say that. Anything that tastes sour is having acids in them. So their nature is acidic. We can say the substances which are sour in taste, they contain acids in them. So what is the acid that is present in this tamarind? That is your tartaric acid. It is present in tamarind. Now, if we need to talk about bases, we have already discussed that what is the property of bases. If you can just taste them or feel them, then they taste bitter and they feel soapy in touch. It's not that you can taste all the bases. Soap cannot be tasted. You cannot taste soap. So how can you check whether it is a base or not? You can just wash your hands with it and you feel that there is a soapy feeling. Then what is it? It is basically a base. So soap is what? It is a base. Now, why do we have to discuss about indicators? It's not the traffic indicators, traffic light indicator which is there on the road. It is a different indicator. Yes, but the traffic light indicator, it tells you when to go, when to stop and when to get ready for going ahead. Just like that, this indicator is helping us to understand whether a given substance is acid or base. You cannot taste all the things around you to basically differentiate them in acids and bases. But yes, these indicators are making their good, they are acting as a hero in that regard. How they are acting as a hero? Because they tell you by some the chemical reactions which you are doing, they help you to understand whether a given substance is an acid or base. So what are they? They are the special type of substances which are used to check whether the given substance is acidic or basic in nature. One of the example of indicator that is available in the nature, which is a naturally occurring indicator, is your litmus paper. It is made from lichens. They are occurring naturally in nature. Now, we know that acid turn blue litmus red and bases turn red litmus blue. Now, can anyone tell me what will happen if to check the acids? For the acids, we are taking a red litmus paper. What will happen? If we take a red litmus paper, if we take a red litmus paper for checking an acid, what will happen with that? If we take a red litmus paper to check whether a given substance is an acid or not, is it going to show any difference? No, not at all. Why? Because acids are turning blue litmus paper red, but they will not cause any effect on the red litmus paper. So the red litmus paper is going to stay like that only. Same thing happens for base. Base is turning red litmus paper to blue. But if you are taking a blue litmus paper to check whether a given substance is base or not, it is not going to show any effect. That means the selection of litmus paper has to be done properly. We need to take a blue litmus paper for testing an acid and a red litmus paper for testing a base. Now, just think what will happen if we mix an acid with a base. Do you think there will be an explosion? Okay, or there would be, some other reaction that would be there? No, nothing of that sort would be there. Rather, the thing is going to, the resultant is a neutral substance. Why? Because acids are sour in taste, bases are bitter in taste. Acids are not having soapy touch, bases are having soapy touch. They are exactly opposite to each other, and that is why when the two opposite things are just getting in contact with each other, what is happening? You are getting a neutral reaction. Have you seen this in mathematics, that when a positive one is getting added to a negative one, what is the result? 0. That is a neutral thing. Just like that, we have the same concept here, that is when the acid is reacting with a base, what is happening? The things are getting neutralized. This is what the neutralization reaction is. What is a neutralization reaction? We know that acids and bases are opposite in nature. So when an acid is mixed with a base, they cancel or neutralize the effect of each other. This is only what is called as neutralization reaction. So it's not something which is involving great deal of knowledge to understand a neutralization reaction. It's very simple. When an acid is combining with a base, because they are opposite in nature, So when they are getting mixed up, what you are getting? You are getting a neutral substance, that is 0. Neutralization reaction is taking place when an acid is combined with a base. So what is neutralization? Again, understanding it, when both acid and base are mixed in suitable amount, the acidic nature of acid and basic nature of base are destroyed. Now this is very important, suitable amount. Why suitable amount? Because if you take a strong acid, let's suppose, if you take a strong acid, let's suppose acid is there, acid and base are combining. Okay, acid and base are combining to give you a salt. Okay, this is a neutral thing which is a salt. Now if suppose the acid is strong and base is weak, then the salt which you are getting would be acidic in nature, because acid is overpowering the base. That is why you will be getting an acidic salt. Let's suppose your acid is a weak acid and base is a strong base. Then what will be the nature of the salt that is formed? It would be basic in nature. But if you are taking acid and bases, if you are selecting them in such a way that they both have, no one is overpowering the another, okay, that is they are normal acid and normal base, then the salt that is formed would be neutral in nature. You remember we have discussed about weak acid, weak base, strong acid, and strong base and weak acid. Just like that we are discussing here. That means you need to keep this point in your mind, that whenever you are basically combining an acid and a base, then the amount should be suitable amount. That is, you need to consider what is the nature of acid and base when you are combining both of them. Otherwise, the nature of the salt would be changed. So, the resulting solution is neither acidic nor basic. This type of solution is called a neutral solution. That is, considering the case that whenever we are combining an acid and base and they are taken in suitable amounts, then the resulting solution which is formed is basically a neutral solution. It is neither acidic nor basic. Now, what is neutralization reaction? That means what are the results, what are the end products of a neutralization reaction? The reaction in which an acid and base react with each other to form salt and water with the evolution of heat is called as neutralization reaction. If I want to sum it up, how can I sum it up? That is, an acid is combining with a base, and what is happening? A salt is formed. Along with it, water is also formed. Along with it, heat is also released during these reactions. That means in whatever laboratory apparatus you are going to perform this reaction, you need to keep this thing in your mind, that you should not handle that particular apparatus in your hand, because it will become warm after the reaction, because evolution of heat is there. So it is an exothermic reaction. So you need to hold it with a holder. So, whenever an acid is combining with a base to form salt and water, what is happening? Evolution of heat is taking place. That is, it is what? Exothermic reaction. So, can I say that neutralization reaction is an exothermic reaction? Yes, because the evolution of heat is taking place, so it is an exothermic reaction. Now, what is the nature of the substance that is formed? What is the resultant product that is formed? We are saying salt is formed, water is formed, and heat is also coming out because of this reaction. Now, the salt produced can be acidic, basic, or neutral in nature, and the heat evolved would raise the temperature of the solution. We have already done that. Heat evolved is basically changing the temperature of the solution, but the salt that is produced would be acidic if the acid that is involved during the reaction is strong acid. If the base is strong, then the salt would be basic, and neutral when both are having equal strength. And obviously the reaction would involve the raise in temperature because it is an exothermic reaction. Now, this is the complete gist of the neutralization reaction in terms of a chemical equation. Acid and base, they are combining to form salt, water, and heat is also released. Whenever an acid that is there, that is HCl, is combining with NaOH. Now, HCl is hydrochloric acid. NaOH is sodium hydroxide. When they are combining, what is happening during their combination when they are combining to form a salt? This Na is combining with this chlorine to form NaCl, and rest of like HO and this H, they are combining to form water, and heat is also released. So what is happening when you are combining hydrochloric acid, which is acid, with a base that is sodium hydroxide? They are combining to form NaCl, sodium chloride, it is a salt, plus water plus heat is released. Now this sodium chloride is a neutral salt. Why? Because we have not taken a strong acid, weak base, or a strong base, weak acid. Both were of equal strength. That is why it is not a acidic or a basic salt. It is a neutral salt. What will happen if we add dilute sulfuric acid and lime water? Will the reaction be hot or a cool? This is, I leave it to you to just answer it. Agar hum dilute sulfuric acid, we just add it to lime water, that is sulfuric acid. Now mind it, this sulfuric acid which we are basically combining, this is sulfuric acid, this is dilute in nature, okay, this is not very strong. This sulfuric acid, when we are combining it with lime water, what is lime water, what is happening? Will the solution be cool or it would be hot? It would be, hot only, because it is again a neutralization reaction. But what products are formed else except water and heat? What is formed? I need the answer for this. Now, after this, phenolphthalein. What is phenolphthalein? Now we have read about the indicator, that is a natural indicator, litmus paper, which you can obtain from lichen. So phenolphthalein is a synthetic indicator, or we can call it as a laboratory indicator, which is basically prepared in the laboratories. So what happens when we put it in an acidic solution? Basic solution, it turns to pink color, but in acidic solution, it remains colorless. It is not showing any color change when we try it in the acidic solution. What you have to do, you just have to make it and put it in a dropper. Put that drop by drop in an acidic solution. The color of acidic solution is not going to change. But if you put drop by drop in a basic solution, what will happen? The color is going to change to pink. Now, when we come to neutralization, we have discussed about that neutralization is basically combination when acid is combining with base, then it is giving us salt. That is fine, we can use it in the laboratory. But what is it useful for in day-to-day life? Is it really useful? Do we see neutralization reaction around us? Yes, we do see them. They are basically indigestion and bite, soil treatment, and factory waste. Now, sometimes we feel discomfort in our stomach. That is, we feel like the food that we have eaten, that is not digested properly, or some gases are there because of which we are feeling pain in our stomach. Why does this happen? The stomach produces hydrochloric acid, which helps in digestion. Sometimes the stomach releases too much of acid, which leads to indigestion. This happens actually. The hydrochloric acid which is present in our stomach, it is basically helpful in removing any bacteria that enters in our body along with the food that we are eating. It is basically, just destroying that bacteria. But when excess of hydrochloric acid is basically released in our body, then it is causing us indigestion. We feel very acidic and we feel like why we have eaten the food. So that is causing basically our stomach is acidic medium. So if we want to relieve ourselves from that acidity that we are suffering, then we have to take something, we need to neutralize it. So neutralizing an acid would be done by a basic substance only. So to neutralize this acid, we can take a basic substance which is known as an antacid. This milk of magnesia is a content which you normally get in all the acidic medicines that you take, all the medicines that are helping you to relieve acidity. So this milk of magnesia is nothing but it is magnesium hydroxide. When hydroxide comes in the name, that means it is what? It is basic in nature. So this milk of magnesia is one of the content of all the medicines that are there for relieving you from acidity. So this milk of magnesia you need to take to neutralize the effect of acidity that you are feeling and the discomfort that you are having in your stomach. When an insect bites us, we feel irritation or itching on the skin. Why it is there? There is some, we feel an itching sensation in our skin when an insect bites us. You know why it is there? It is there because the insect or ant releases the formic acid in our skin. That is because of the formic acid that the ant injects into our skin while biting. When it bites, it just leaves formic acid inside our skin. Now this is an acid. You need to neutralize its effect. What you have to do, you have to use a basic substance. What is that basic substance? Baking soda, it's readily available in your kitchens. You can use baking soda or you can use a calamine solution. Lactocalamine solution is there that is having zinc carbonate as one of its content. So you can use that also when an ant is biting you. Now, how is soil treatment important? Why, you need to study about neutralization reaction for soil treatment. During soil treatment, we are using different type of fertilizers to make the soil acidic. When you are using fertilizers, they are NPK, that is nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium rich fertilizers. When you are putting fertilizers in your plant, what you are actually doing, you are adding the acidic value to your crops, to your soil basically. आपकी soil कैसी हो गई है? Acidic हो गई है. अब acidic soil को treat करने के लिए हम क्या use करते हैं? We use quicklime, that is calcium oxide, और slakelime, that is calcium hydroxide. एसिडिक सॉइल को अगर हमें ट्रीट करना है तो हम उसको किससे ट्रीट करेंगे? वी ट्रीट देम यूजिंग अ बेसिक सब्सटेंस. सो हम क्या यूज करते हैं? कैल्शियम ऑक्साइड या कैल्शियम हाइड्रोक्साइड यूज करते हैं. लेकिन अगर बेसिक सॉइल है हमारा, दैट मीन्स आवर सॉइल हैज बिकम बेसिक, देन इट कैन बी न्यूट्रलाइज्ड बाय एडिंग ऑर्गेनिक सब्सटेंसेस, जिससे कि वो एसिड रिलीज करेंगे व्हेन दे आर गेटिंग डिकम्पोज्ड इन द सॉइल. तो जो भी हमारी ऑर्गेनिक सब्सटेंसेस होती हैं, व्हाट हैपेंस व्हेन दे आर गेटिंग डिकम्पोज्ड inside the soil, then they are releasing some acids, because of which the basic nature of soil can be neutralized. So what are factory waste? The factories में से जो waste निकलता है, if there is a river, pond or lake nearby, then it is hampering the aquatic life below the water. So factory का जो waste होता है, it is normally acidic in nature, और उसको इधर उधर कहीं dump नहीं करना चाहिए, कहीं पे भी नहीं फेंक देना चाहिए. That is why bases are added to it. We need to add bases before throwing it off into the river, क्योंकि हमने अगर उसमें base add कर दिया तो वो क्या हो जाएगा? उसका effect neutralize हो जाएगा, जिसकी वजह से the aquatic life is not getting affected. That is, we need to treat it. What is a neutralization reaction? With an example, when an acid is combining with a base, it basically forms salt water, and a lot of heat is produced during neutralization reaction. That is, a reaction between acid and base to produce salt and water is called as neutralization reaction. This is a salt that is formed, NaCl plus H2O. The heat has to be shown here. The heat should be there because it is an exothermic reaction. Heat is also released during a neutralization reaction. Now, what is a synthetic indicator that is used in a neutralization reaction? The synthetic indicator is phenolphthalein. Name the acid that helps in the digestion of food. The acid that helps in digestion of food is hydrochloric acid, which is present in our stomach. Too much of hydrochloric acid is going to cause acidity to us. Now, sodium hydroxide turns blue litmus red. Sodium hydroxide is a base. Will it turn blue litmus red or red litmus blue? It is going to. Sodium hydroxide, it is wrong because blue litmus red is for acid. That is, this statement is incorrect. Nitric acid, red litmus blue, this is again incorrect. They have to be vice versa. Sodium hydroxide, red litmus blue, and nitric acid, blue litmus red. Why an antacid tablet is taken when you suffer from acidity? It is taken because we are already feeling acidity due to the hyperacidic medium inside our stomach, and we need to treat it by a base. So this antacid tablets, they are rich in magnesium hydroxide, which is a base, and they are going to treat our acidity by making it the acid neutral. Why factory waste need to be neutralized before dumping? Because it is acidic in nature. We need to basically treat it with a base so that we can throw it off into the river and it becomes, there is no effect on the aquatic life, it is neutral. What will be the color of phenolphthalein in basic solution? It is pink in color. In acidic solution, it is colorless. Now, what we have learned today, what is neutralization, what is a neutralization reaction, how can we use neutralization reaction in everyday life. So this is all what we have done today. This is the entire summary of acid, bases and salts. Now, what are acid, bases and salts? Acids, what are their properties? They are sour in taste, they are corrosive and good conductors. Acids, type of acids we know: mineral, organic, strong and weak acids. Now, what are bases? Bases की अगर हम properties की बात करें, they are bitter in taste, they are soapy to touch and they react with acid to neutralize and produce a salt. Type of bases are strong and weak bases. How can we use, if we talk about neutralization reaction, it is basically acid reaction between an acid and a base. Neutralization solution क्या होता है? Neutralization solution phenolphthalein को अगर हम लेंगे तो वो क्या करेगा, किसी का भी कलर चेंज नहीं करेगा, ना रेड लिटमस का ब्लू में ना ब्लू लिटमस का रेड में, क्योंकि न्यूट्रलाइजेशन सोल्यूशन का जो रिजल्ट है वो क्या है, न्यूट्रल है, ना वो एसिडिक है ना वो बेसिक है। लेकिन अगर वो एसिडिक होगा तो वो यस रेड लिटमस पेपर को ब्लू में नहीं करेगा, ब्लू को रेड में करेगा, और बेसिक रेड को ब्लू में करेगा। Now, indicators, there are two types of indicators. One is natural, one is synthetic. Natural are China rose petals and litmus dactyl and turmeric, and beetroot also is there. And sorry, not beetroot, it is a red cabbage. Types of indicators, synthetic is phenolphthalein and methyl orange. Now, how can we use neutralization reaction in day-to-day life? It's basically to relieve us from indigestion, and if ant bites us, we need to treat it. We can use neutralization in that. And in soil treatment, if it is acidic in nature, we can basically treat it with calcium oxide and calcium hydroxide. So this is what we have done today. Thank you very much. We'll meet in the next session. Any doubts, be prepared for with all your doubts in the next session. Thank you.